I was at Asheville last year, and I've really gotten to a clear understanding of how to apply it. And if there's any more processes that you might like to reveal for us, or maybe specifically me for everyone, that
You'll
might
hear
help
much
me.
more as we are moving forward, but
Excellent.
we'll give it to you in general terms right now, and then we'll play with it all day long.
Sure.
And that is, this is the best articulation of where this leading edge knowledge has come to this point. It'll be different tomorrow, but here's where it is today. If you accept the vibrational quality of that which you are, and you accept that your most powerful desire is the manifestation of the emotion, and you accept that once you've accomplished that, now you've connected with source energy, now you're in the place of allowing all of this alignment and all of this power, that emotional manifestation is the grid that will fill in with such detail to surprise and delight you and inspire you and thrill you and others, never endingly. So if you start with this emotional basis and you let it be what you are really reaching for, and you accept it as the only thing that is important for you to accomplish, and so you begin going after it, we want you to think of that emotional accomplishment or that emotional manifestation as the general but pure basis of creation. Now, it will fill in with more specifics. It just must, because the law of attraction is going to fill it in. And it will fill it in with the specifics that match the basis of it. So that's why we're saying, if you will take the time to lay a basis, because whatever is your point of attraction, when you love and hate and love and hate and love and hate, your grid is filled in with lovely things and hateful things and lovely things and hateful things. When you're sure and afraid and sure and afraid and sure and afraid, your grid fills in with certainty and fearful things. In other words, what you're offering is all. And so as you clarify deliberately this emotional basis, and then you watch the manifestations reflect that, it gives you your conscious awareness. It's really what deliberate creation is. But it will always fill in with more specifics. So we've been talking for quite a while about this emotional scale that goes from despair and depression all the way up into ecstasy, with some of everything in between. And now we're presenting an emotional scale that is less detailed, and it goes like this: specifically negative, generally positive, specifically positive. Because we want to emphasize that if something's gone wrong and you're feeling specifically negative, because there's lots of details that have filled in that are frightening you or angering you, that your dominant intention is just to get as general as you can about it. And which means talk to people less about it, or if you're talking to them, talk in more general terms, rather than saying why you hate that person and the details of all the things that they've done wrong to you. Be more general by saying things like, I'm uncomfortable with that person, and I don't want to talk about why. In other words, the more general you are, the less powerful the frequency is, the less attractive the frequency is, and the easier it is to move into a generally good feeling emotion. And once you find that generally good feeling emotion, then the details will fill in. Now, in all of this, and this is the piece that is new, in all of this conversation about deliberate creation, we've been encouraging you to focus your thoughts. Today, we're encouraging you to focus your thoughts still, but focus them around the subject of emotion. In other words, focus your thoughts on how you want to feel and leave it at that. Because we've been saying to you for a while that you have enough vibrational basis in your vortex of creation to keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes of manifestation.
That's incredible.
And it's time for you to start cashing in your coupons. It's time for you to begin redeeming what you've put there. And the way to do it is to focus on this emotional basis. We've been playing with the law of attraction cards. We've been pointing out that when you try to affirm something wanted from a place of feeling its absence, that all you end up doing is affirming its absence in a more powerful way. You don't mean to. In other words, I want more money, I want more money, I want more money. When you want more money, just makes the absence of money more painful. And the more specific you get about why you want the money, when you really feel the absence of the money, it makes you sort of dig in a way you don't mean to. Where if you can get more general, it causes you to release your grip just a little bit, you see. That's the process that is the most leading edge and active. And now we're filling it in with more detail about this emotional basis. And as you listen and resonate and then play with it over the next few days, you're going to discover the power of it. Really good.
Do I have time for one more question? Who focused human beings into being? Was it extraterrestrials of some sort? You've answered this question before, or maybe it wasn't just this question, but it was a similar one. But yes, that's my question.
Well, when you accept that you were source energy before you came into this physical body, so there is all of this non-physical awareness. But in the evolution of that which you are, in other words, the very first beingness on your planet were not humans or even dinosaurs, but even microbes in soil. But even those very elementary organisms were consciousness having expansion and having comparative experiences. So the evolution has been going on for a long time. As you stand in here, we want to answer the question this way first, and then we will come back to any detail that you are still hungry for. When you think about creation, as we were talking as we first began here today, that this leading edge environment is the furthest most place where source is focused. Can you accept that? In other words, source energy out here in you. And then you think about human consciousness, and you think about what you're exploring and what you're deciding and what you are preferring. When you think about the desires that are being born within you, and then you think about source holding those thoughts and maintaining the frequency until that manifestation can occur. As you focus in that way, you can understand how this source energy consciousness is guiding this evolution. So all of the controversy over the difference between whether it is God created or evolution created, it is both. It is source energy's awareness. But source energy, this is the most significant part of this. The desire that source energy then focuses upon is discovered by the leading edge creator who is physically focused. So it's an expansion of consciousness. You have to accept that in the same way that your dream state is perceptual, all of this is too. But you just get so good at perceiving it that then you want to call it this more concrete reality. So thought does become matter. So now ask your question again. Who created it? Consciousness.
Okay, and my question is about consciousness and how it interfaces with matter. So a singular cell organism, essentially, even though it's just one cell, basically has the same mental capacity, if that's the right word, as a being such as myself, which is about 13 trillion cells on average.
Not really the same mental capacity, because it's clear that
conscious energy, is that a better term?
There is conscious energy, but the difference, you think differently than the chicken, even though you're both thinking.
Course, right.
You think differently than the ant, even though you're both thinking. You think differently than the cells in your body, even though they're both thinking.
Okay, so what I'm really asking is, consciousness is not limited or defined by the amount of cells in an organism.
Consciousness, no matter how significant it is, as in the case of a human body, or insignificant that it may seem, as in the case of a one-celled organism, consciousness is still having its comparative experience where it knows what it doesn't want and knows what it does want. In other words, there is always this expectation of improvement. And so the consciousness of the trillions of cells in your body are all adding to the consciousness that is you. You really can't separate one from the other. Here's another way of going here. And we really are out here on the leading edge of thought, but we think it will be satisfying to all of you. We touched on it earlier. It seems to be the theme of this gathering today. When you accept that you are creator, and you accept that you are standing in an environment that is giving you the inspiration to expand, and you accept that it's not just you that's being inspired, it's all that has ever been that is being inspired, then you begin to realize that the individuality that you're wanting to call you the creator is never as individual as you have thought that it was, that all of source is flowing through you in any moment in time. Here's another way of saying it, because that got a little murky and some of you didn't follow it all the way through. Look at it this way. So sometimes people will say, so Abraham, I'm out here and I'm mixing it up and I'm putting rockets of desire into my vortex of creation. We say, yes, you are. And they'll say, and everybody else is doing it too. And we say, yes, that is true, even one-celled organisms. So here is this vortex of request or desire that source immediately becomes. So then here you are, walking around in your body, in your day, having your exposure to your life experience, using something, anything, as your object of attention, that is causing you to align with the fullness of who you are. So all of that consciousness, all of that knowing is available to you right here, right now, in this moment.
To one cell of the trillion.
So as you are focused in a way that is causing no resistance in your experience, everything that has anything to do with you has access to all of that, you see. So then you run around like that. And you influence your mother, and you influence your brother, and you influence your lover, and you influence, in other words, when you are in tune with that. So really, but there are many points that we are making with that, but the primary point that you were asking for, that we really want to make central to this discussion, is that when you take the time to feel good, you have access to the whole of all of it. And that doesn't mean that you could translate or articulate all of it right here this red hot minute. That would be a pretty expansive moment in time. But anything that is important to where you are standing and who you are being and what you are doing and what you are wanting then is available. And that's why those highs in those moments feel so extraordinary. People are always wanting to have the discussion of, are we all one? And we say, that's hard for you to accept as you look around at your individual clumps on individual chairs. But it is true that when you use anything as your excuse to resonate with that high frequency vibration, that then you have access to everything that this source energy is, that's always been flowing to you in any moment in time, whether you knew that it was or not. In other words, you don't have to learn this to earn this. It's always been present, but you have to be in the vibrational frequency of it in order for it to be revealed to you or translated by you. Esther was saying to her sister this morning, I always thought that what revelation was that someone else, like God, would be really smart. And if I was worthy enough, that then God would reveal to me, meaning God would tell me what he knows. The revelation would come to me because of my worthiness. And Esther said, now I get it, that the revelation always means I have to achieve a vibrational frequency that allows me to interpret it. In other words, it's not someone else giving it to me. It's me achieving vibrational alignment with the knowledge that the whole is achieved. And so look at it this way. You as an individual creator are putting plenty of knowledge into your vortex, but there's a whole lot more knowledge that you haven't put there that is there and is available to you. DNA knowledge, cellular knowledge. There's all kinds of knowledge that is available to you that you can't and don't want to articulate and don't have to. All you have to do is find some reason. Takes 10 minutes to feel good. And as you find that reason to feel good, now you are in a vibrational frequency that allows the translation or the revelation